Okay, this is John from Clock Repairs Merseyside. We're just back online. I'm just going to go through this clock again. Right, I've started to dismantle it. I've just taken the bottom off, and what seems to look like some kind of remnants of someone using wire wool on the clock. I don't know what that is at this point in time. But yeah, as you can see now, you can see the sort of rough casting on this clock. It's pretty, you know, you can see it's quite rough really from that point of view. Now at this point, what we'll do is we'll put a couple of elastic bands around the clock so that when we take the bottom screws off, the pillars don't separate and the glass drops out and breaks. Just a precautionary measure. I'll just zoom out a little bit here so we can actually see, get a bit of a better picture. Okay, just let me back up a bit. Where are we? Just let me see a minute. Right, I'm sorry about my amateur video situation, just have to bear with me. It's a fly on the wall type thing. I'm not going to edit stuff just at the moment. It's a little bit difficult time. Obviously having a look around, what you'll do is you'll have a good look around. We pretty much note anything that's wrong. I can see a little bit of a chip in the corner there on the glass, and we'll make notes of all these things and we'll take photographs of it. Actually, we've taken photographs of it when it's actually come into us, because obviously you don't want to be getting blamed for anything that you haven't done. But yeah, you know, just have a look, see which is the best way to take it to pieces. You know, there's not going to be nothing falling off when you're going to do something. And to this, it looks basically like you have 4 screws. One there, and then the bottom will pop off, and then, you know, you may be able to take the whole thing out from the bottom. I mean, we don't know. Right, I'll just pop these screws out and see what we've got. Now, what we do at this point, we keep every single thing together that comes off the clock, every single thing, and we put it in a tray individually on its own, numbered with the receipt number that we've gave the customer, so everything will come together. So there's one out. Now, at this point, we don't put any gloves on or finger stalls or anything at this point, because you know, the clock is going to have to be cleaned up, and then when it's clean finally, then obviously you use you know, the likes of rubber gloves, or you know, we'll use finger stalls just so that we don't mark the car up. Now already a little poster's fell out, and being honest with you, feeling it, you can actually start now feeling the cheapness of it. Nice clock, holds sentimental value for the lady, so you know, she's happy to have it worked on and have the work done on it, even though being honest with you, it's probably it probably costs more for it to be serviced than probably the clock it cost itself in its original time. But as I sometimes say to customers, there's nothing we can do like that, because I mean, we sometimes we've worked on the likes of Breguet, Frodsham and Baker, and you know, some quite valuable clocks. And if we had to sort of go along the lines of, I'll just put that aside, and we're now left with the movement, okay, which is now on its bottom plate. Looks really dirty. I somehow don't feel that this clock movement, because you know, where the lady was when we picked her up, she's only very local to me. It certainly doesn't appear to me that the house would be in a state. So I think this has been made to look, you know, old, where it certainly isn't that old, really. I wouldn't think so. To me, you know, the screws are quite modern in it. You know, the work in general is quite modern. You know, the machining of the movements is quite modern. Just looking at that platform. Now another thing with platform escapements, I know this, you know, will sound obvious. When you know you sort of want to get them going, it's better just to use a blower. Don't blow on it with your mouth, because you're gonna put moisture on it. And as you can see, it's made out of steel, so you can imagine you shouldn't do it anyway, even if it was made out of brass. But you know, you're certainly going to cause rusting. I think a lot of the main problems with this clock, it's just filthy. It's just absolutely filthy. You know, it really is. It really is. As you can see, the platform, I mean, it's certainly a modern thing, isn't it? It's not a, it's not, you know, something that I would say is, you know, like the likes of a cylinder escapement. It's certainly not. Right. Okay. The first thing to do on servicing a clock is simply take the power away from your mainspring. So I'll just go and get us our key, and we'll do that. Right, we have this type of key. You can use various methods. My uncle, actually, he's 93 years of age, he's been in the industry for a long time. He uses clock keys, and he's got like a bit of a mop pole with a cut in it, and he does it that way. He turns the spring down that way, very cheap way. I think in his time of clockmaking and watchmaking, just after the war years, there wasn't a great supply of things, and so, you know, people had to make do and mend. I mean, some of his clock stands, I mean, you know, the bits of old case and things, where here we've got modern, you know, clock stands that are quite versatile. You can pretty much hold anything. Anyway, next thing you're going to do is you're going to put your key on. You're going to advance. I don't know whether you can actually see that. I'm trying to let you see what we're doing. You can advance. You advance as if you're going to wind it up. You'd release your click spring, or your click, and you just let it run through your hands slowly. Don't just let it go. Run it slowly. Okay. And that's pretty much it. Now there's no power there now, so you're safe to work on it. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to take your platform off. Now, what sometimes is a great idea to do where the platform escapement's concerned is see, can you mark it somehow? Now, to me, this is all the way over on that shoulder, but sometimes it's nice just to put a little mark on it along the bottom where, you know, it can't be seen, but it might help you set it up, you know, when you come to put it back together. But to be honest with you, I've done it that many times now that, you know, I can pretty much do it without worrying. When we set them up, we sort of put them on the back, on the front, on the side, you know, to see does it stop, and give it a little, you know, a little wobble, and you know, see does the clock stop. If it stops, I mean, you know, obviously you might find, you know, you need to do some further adjustments. Also, what we'll do is we'll get just a little tobacco tin. This camera, just haven't got it at the right angle. I'll have to do something about my photography skills. And then what we'll do is, you know, we'll put it in. We'll put the platform escapement inside that tin, with a little bit of, you know, kitchen towel or something. Just bear with me. And then when we put then everything into the grey box ready to clean, we'll put that tin in it as well with that numbered as well, so that, you know, the platform escapement doesn't get thing. But if you do it in here, you've got less chance of damaging the platform escapement. Right, so and just undo the screws on the platform escapement. Put your screws in. Right, now if you look on this, it's only actually anchored by get some focus. It's only actually anchored by 3 screws. It hasn't got 4 in. So also shot again. Yeah, so I'm just actually undoing the screws. And now your platform just pops off. Now when you move it forward away from your crown wheel, which is there. Okay, move it forward away and take it away. Put it safe in your box with your lid on, so you've got your screws and you've got your platform in the box. Right, now there you go. So pretty much, as you can see, it's absolutely filthy. Absolutely filthy. I actually believe as well, looking at it now, I mean, it's had obviously a coating of lacquer, and some of this marking looks like, you know, it's the lacquer coating really. You know, it's just very tarnished. Now your hands, now what we do is, well, I'd do is I'd pop your bottom plate off. I'm going to see what I can do with these plates. You know, clean them up and make a nice job of it. Make it look nice for the lady. Want to surprise her. It looks like it's actually got some rust. On the screws. Now, you know, could be damp. There's also, if I look, so we've got some screws that are rusting. Just show you. We have some screws that are rusting like that. But then I've noticed on some of these other screws here, we've got like a greenish tinge on it. And I don't know whether that's the engineering side of the screws, but I was told by my uncle one day, I mean, he's the old watchmaker, that sometimes in years gone by, they used to get a green tinge on some parts on clocks, and often it was because there was some kind of gas leaking in the house or something, and that's what used to cause it. So, you know, maybe it's that. Now, the other thing you want to do is check how the hands are fitted on these. Now, these to me look like they've had a pin. I mean, I think they've went to great lengths to actually make this clock look antique. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to find somehow of supporting it without damaging it on its back screws. I don't want it on its winding over, so I'm going to support it like that. And we have some levers like this, and I'm just going to see, yeah, they just popped under, no problem. Now what I'll actually do with the hands is I'll actually put them in with the escapement just underneath the just show you the escapements in there, just underneath the piece of cloth. And so I'm going to have another little check to see how this is fitted, because this is now pretty much against the dial, so that could be a bit tricky. And also there's a, what looks like a, oh no it's not, I thought it was a washer but it's not, so I'm gonna have to be quite careful and see how we can actually get underneath. Oh, here you go. So we can actually I mean, hopefully it's just going to pop off like the other hand, but I'm very aware that we've already found some rust marks and things, so I'm going to be just a bit careful as I'm doing this. And as I move it, I'm just lifting the hand with our levers, and it looks like it's actually coming away. Quite nicely. So there's our hand off there. Right, a little bit worrying sometimes when you see rust where hands are concerned, because obviously, you know, your hands could be stuck on, and you're dealing with an enamel dial, so you know, the last thing you want to do is break it. So obviously you want to put a little bit of protection there. You want to try and get it high. You want to take your time, and you want to study, you know, and certainly do things the easiest way possible. Don't, you know, rush it. You know, don't be tempted to do that, because as much as it's a pretty modern clock, it's still a bit of a pain, isn't it, to have to get another dial. And then, you know, if the lady, you know, knows the dial well and stuff. I mean, our situation is we always just be honest. If there was a mistake made, it's a mistake. We be honest and we put it right, and that's how we do it. And in the process of that, we probably then don't charge for the you know, the service and stuff like that, obviously, as a matter of customer goodwill. But that's just us. I mean, I don't know whether everybody else does that type of thing, but that's just us. That's you know, that's the way I've been told to do the job. You know, I've seen my uncle had 4 shops at one time, so we pretty much know. But yeah, that's it. So that hand then will go in the bottom of the situation. Obviously, when the hands go on, when it's all clean, we'll be obviously using Rodico to take any fingerprints off the dial, and you know, and making sure we do a good job of it. Right, I'm gonna have to stop the video there, and I'm gonna do video 3 where I start dismantling the movements, and we get everything into a dismantled state. And then our next video will be, our next 3 videos will be probably about how the clock goes together. And hopefully I'm going to make quite a few more. I'm going to have a mixture of videos, you know, to do with, you know, I'm going to give people a bit of history on clocks. If we get a nice clock, we can give a bit of history. I'm going to go around, you know, I'm going to show people some of my own stock, in regards to some of my grandfather clock stuff. I mean, I haven't got a lot in it at the moment due to the fact that we've had the pandemic for a number of years. I haven't been able to get to any auctions. I really don't like buying blind either, I mean, or buying off a site, because, you know, the pictures can always have been Photoshop or something like that. And so, you know, I've had a situation where I bought a couple of Carriage clocks, and when I got them, you know, the faults were there to see. You know, there was no doubt about it. The faults were there to see on the glass cracked and stuff like that. But for some reason, due to camera angle or whatever it was, I didn't pick these faults up. And so I was really, really disappointed. I mean, and I've had it before where I've got in touch with the auctioneer, and it's sort of, you know, buyer beware type of attitude, which obviously then you just don't go near these auctioneers again. I mean, there's not a great deal you can do, is there? You know, just nothing you can do at all. I mean, so you've got to be buyers where you just hoping that, you know, they're honest and, you know, they take good pictures of it. But my situation is, I do like, if I see something nice I like, nice and special, I want to go and look at it. I want to, you know, and obviously there's a lot of things that are going to be pretty acceptable. I mean, you've got to have a bit of a compromise with an antique clock. I mean, it's not going to be perfect. I mean, I wouldn't buy a perfect looking antique clock because I'd be very suspicious of it. So, but you know, you certainly don't want to have a situation where you buy it at a reasonable cost, and you know, the cost of, you know, the percentages the auctioneers are putting on now, I mean, it's pretty high. I mean, when I started, I mean, it was probably like 14%. I mean, I think it's like something like 38% now. And then you put 38% on, then you've got to drive there, drive back, you know, on the thing. Then you've got to drive and collect it, or you've got to pay someone to bring it to you. I mean, it starts adding up to a pretty penny. Then when you bring it back, you've got to service it, and you know, the least thing you want is whereby you know, you're making parts for it as well, or you know, you're trying to get something for it. I mean, you know, it just doesn't make any sense. And so I like to see something. I really weigh it up. I have a good look, and then if I feel, you know, it's too much and it's not that special, I won't be buying it. I'll be leaving it. Let someone else have the headache, and that's it. So this is John from Clock Repairs Merseyside. Another video. My next video, number 3, is going to be me dismantling this movement. Okay, thanks.